They believed they could ship me off under a smile and a pile of resignations. They were mistaken. I'm Zara Cole, and this is the story of how I convinced an entire room of skeptics to believe me, one deliberate step at a time. Picture this. I'm sitting in my late mother's office, the one she built out of grit and genius, when her former right-hand man, Victor Kane, strolls in wearing a grin so smug it could curdle milk. He drops 25 resignation letters onto my desk as if he's laying down a checkmate. "You're not ready for this, Zara," he says, arms folded. "This isn't your game. Hold on with me here, because did you ever join an empire and have every door slammed in your face by the people who think you are merely the shadow of the man who built it? My mum, Elaine Cole, passed away on a Tuesday, suddenly, from a stroke. No warning. No farewell. She was the brains of the operation for Cole and Crescent, a money concern which started in our cellar and grew to become a leviathan across over a quarter-century. She ruled with an iron heart and a silken voice. Men did not daunt her because she was soft of heart. Men daunted by her because she was invincible. Her death astonished me, but I had no time to grieve. On Wednesday morning, the board had appointed me president temporary. They promised me, as if I was purchasing the best job on hire purchase. Her deputy, Victor, jeered at me and guffawed. "Temporary, Zara. We require someone with real power." Real power. I'd graduated from Wharton in finance. I'd been generating projections for my mom since I was 17 and rebuilt her risk models after her CFO's mistakes. But to them, I was just the daughter, a young black woman in a storm of gray suits and professionally battered smiles. I wore the black blazer she'd passed away into work on Thursday morning. 25 names ahead of me. Names I knew. Students my mother had taught. Students whose children I'd played pickup ball with at company parties. Dead. Victor in the doorway, sipping espresso as if he'd already prevailed. "They don't trust a legacy hire," he said to me. No offense. I regarded him, my mother's old watch ticking on my wrist, and responded with one word. "Good." His sneer stuttered. "Good," he snarled. I nodded. "You just demonstrated who's not afraid to change." And I reached for the phone. Nina, HR, package severance on those 25. And Victor's contract. His cup landed on the desk with a resounding clink. "You're over your head," he snarled. I grinned. "No, Victor. Time's up for you." They had taught me to be a proxy, a grieving child on the throne of her mother. Mom, though, had taught me in the furnace rooms of her kingdom, where she had taught me more than math. She had taught me to read people, their stalling, their half-truths, their fear. And Victor? The worst of the lot. All show, no substance. Blowing orders at the opposition and lecturing about commitment. And now in my office building, here to kill me. I wasn't ready. I was loaded. The first snap came 3 weeks later during a board meeting. Victor, ever the actor, was chuckling it up over Q4 forecasts when I cut him off. Why did Portfolio foresee lose $1.8 million of assets for nothing? Silence filled the room. Victor cleared a cough. Glitch, most likely. I slid across the table a report. Not a glitch. Unauthorized transfer into a shell account, named 2021. Check the audit trail here. The board shifted. Victor's face reddened. I advanced to the next slide. Your login. Your IP. Your error. Want to explain it to us? He didn't. That night, Kem stashed a USB flash drive at her pocket. Victor's been posting client rosters, quotes, all from an out-fake account, she panted. I gave the drive a scalding look, my stomach knotting with rage. This was betrayal, of course, but sabotage, too. There was a folder in my mother's old dressing chest with a note attached. For Zara. When it's time. It was padlocked. There'd been an edict within a court mandate, executive override, en masse, weeks before she died. She'd glimpsed the snake with Viper's fangs open. She'd left me to bring her in the middle of. I did not kill Victor, red-handed. Warned him. Hunted him through halls, unsure that I was rewriting rules in his head. I cut back on the cash, routed the clearances through my office, and engaged an independent auditor in the guise of a routine audit, without publicity. And I started afresh. I sat down with committed staff, the analysts, the juniors, the overlooked, and I asked them what they needed to thrive. Tasha, a manager, said softly, "This was like family before Victor turned it into a cage." I did not promise, I vowed. Kem had finally struck gold, a letter that Victor had encrypted but also included investors he was soliciting to invest in his firm, at least according to our proprietary sources. I summarized it all into a 40-page memo, emails, payments, even a taped rant where he cackled. Zara's just a kid playing CEO. I took it to the following board meeting and placed it in front of him, the cost of betrayal, slide by slide, sheer deception. His voice over the speakers. Done with coal and crescent. I'll create something greater from its ashes. No response in the room. Victor paused. This is libel. I nodded at Kem's affidavit. This is evidence. The board chairman's voice was icicle cold. Victor Kane, you are relieved for dereliction of duty and corporate espionage. He stormed out, threatening to sue. Security had already stripped him of his privileges. The reaction was poisonous. Clients were furious, a $1.1 million deficit in the books, rumor in the press. I worked 16-hour days restoring trust, reshaping teams, introducing a mentorship program for multi-skilled staff. Gradually, the firm began to breathe again. Laughter returned to the break room. And then, of course, the audit found 2 forged signatures implicating Victor against 2 former board members. They quit quietly. And culture wasn't like that either. We were no longer a firm. We were a mission. A year had passed, and I got a creased note from Victor. I underestimated you less than you were, Zara. You weren't Elaine's shadow. You were the hurricane. I folded it in, pride, not reminder. They'll always believe your silence is weakness. Until you show them steel. I took my mom's emerald green favorite to a conference and spoke of power that does not need to scream. The audience went crazy. I put Mom's refurbished old convertible front and center at the office. Forest green, top up. Make them look. They had tried to wipe her out, mock her, kill her. But she never pleaded, never wept. She rose up, recast the rules, and left a legacy that was on par with their own critique.